right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining another monthly AutoLeap webinar. The goal here is to continue to bring you thought leadership in the industry by providing you guys with relevant topics, experts in their fields. So we're glad you're tuning in. Today, I have the pleasure of welcoming Greg on the customer buying process, the most important process you can engage. Greg, I'm going to embarrass you a little bit and just say, it's been a pleasure getting to know you for the last, few months. And I really look at you as a friend. So I appreciate you being here today. And you bring such incredible experience. You've got over 30 years in the industry, whether coaching, owning your shop, in the dealerships. And so I'm super excited to have you here today. We've got a lot of people, so obviously this topic is relevant and they want to hear from you. So just a few things, guys. We are recording this session, so you will get a recording afterwards. So if you have to drop off, no worries. But we want to make this as engaging as possible. We do this for you guys, so if you have questions, please feel free to ask us in the chat function below, and I will do my best to interrupt Greg politely and weave those in as possible. So first, we're going to go ahead and start with a poll. Actually, before I do that, I want to say you will get a survey afterwards. The survey is really to kind of help us gauge where we are, help us to gauge how these webinars are, performing. And what I really, really, really need from you guys is what topics you want to hear and the speakers that you want to hear from, right? From your suggestions, I go out and I reach out to these experts. So if you guys give me some help, we will get those speakers for you. So we're going to start with a poll, Greg, and I'm going to relaunch it since we were already practicing. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know if you can see what I see or if it's bigger on your screen, but I will read it for you. People are responding. Do you have a formal documented sales process? So I also want to mention, as you are putting in your responses, Greg has some seriously awesome books in the industry. And if you don't have them, don't know about them, I keep them at my desk and I write on them all the time. We will be giving away 5 of these today. So please make sure to submit your answers and you will be entered to win. So Greg, I'm going to share this really quick. So about 80% say no.
I love the honesty. Thank you. I love it. I love it. I really do. I mean that. I've asked that question in a lot of classes, and everybody feels like they have to say, yes, 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 I have one. And the reality is, if you ask them to write it down, they don't have one. And it's okay that you don't have one. And I'll make that point today.
All right. We're going to do one more so that we can really kind of understand where everybody is right now. I'm going to pop this up. So do you feel that the sales process is more prominent than the customer buying process? So obviously today's session is on the customer buying process. So if you guys want to go ahead and get your responses in, super curious to see where we land, Greg. Where do you think?
I'm going to cheat. I'm going to help everybody. And I'm going to say, this is a trick question. It's a trick question. I mean, just look at the title of the program. See, it's a trick question. Let's see if anybody got it.
I don't know if people are fudging with their answers now because they know it's a trick question. So I would have said a different word, but we're recording this. So I'm going to pop this up and share those results. About 73% say no. The sales process is not more prominent than the customer buying process. 27% say yes. So all right. Here we go, Greg. I'm going to give the floor to you. And as a reminder, everybody, at the bottom in the chat function or Q&A, whatever is easier for you, please submit your questions. We are here for you. I'm going to turn my camera off so that the focus is on you, Greg.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I have an observation and a couple of comments. The observation is, whenever I hear somebody tell me or tell a group about me that I've got over 30 years experience, there's only one thing I hear: I'm old. So thank you for that, Amber.
Always.
Secondly, I can't see you. I wish I could see you. I apologize for not being able to see you. Of all the technology I have in here, I don't have that technology. So I'm sorry that we're not here in person, but I hope you can take something away. The poll questions are interesting, not only because of the results, but because it leads us into what is important when it comes to selling. And years ago, I was engaged with a lot of organizations. My background was spending about 15 years worth of time with Toyota at the corporate level. And a lot of what I do today kind of came from that experience. But the focus was always on sales and sales process. And I got into an environment where everybody has a different sales process. And you never, ever, if you're me, you never, ever, ever want to get into the argument whether your sales process is better than my sales process or not. And it dawned on me one day that, you know what? There's not a bad sales process out there. Most of the sales processes that people have trademarked or they promote, they work. They're all similar in certain ways and they're all different in other ways. But the one thing they all have in common is that they have to engage the customer. And the thing about this is that we have studied consumers and consumer process and consumer thought process for a really, really long time, 50 to 100 years, depending on what you want to call, consumer purchasing research. And so psychologists have a really, really strong understanding of what you, me, and everybody else go through when we go to buy something. And it begins with a very specific step and it ends with a very specific step. And what I did was I read all the research so that you wouldn't have to, and I boiled it down to 5 steps. Now, part of my point to doing that was that I don't care what your sales process is. Now, I say that. I do care because I want you to be successful. But really, it doesn't matter what your sales process is as long as it supports the customer buying process. What every single customer goes through mentally, in general, it has to support. And if it supports that, you will get more yeses when you ask for the sale than no's. Okay? So the problem with the psychology, the consumer psychology, what people go through when they buy something, is that we in the automotive service industry, standing here at a service counter, tend to skip steps because we ourselves already have a certain level of knowledge. We've already had eyes on a customer's car. We've already seen this 1,000 times. We already know what the price is. We already understand what the choices are. And so we tend to skip with our customers certain steps. And when I say we forget a very important step, it's not that we forget it. It's that we just flat out skip it. Okay? So here's the process. 5 steps. Now, the analogy that I always use with this is I am hungry. All right? Customer buying begins with recognizing a need for something. I am hungry. I need food. Have you ever gone grocery shopping when you're hungry? Yep, we should put that up as a poll question. Yes, you have. And what happens when you go grocery shopping and you're hungry? You buy the store. You buy stuff you've never bought in your life. You buy stuff because the picture on the box looks good. Well, the reason you do it is because hunger is a really core human need, right? So I need food. When you think I need food, you start looking around. Who's got food? And just for example's sake, let's just say it's Burger King, McDonald's, and Pizza Hut. All right? So I am hungry. I need food. Who's got food? Maybe you pull your phone out and you Google it, you Yelp it, you do whatever there, but you start gathering information, the second step, on who has food. Who can satisfy that need? I identify a need. Who can help with the need? Once you identify who can help, Burger King, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, what's on the menu? So we pick one. We pick McDonald's. We walk in and we look at the menu and we go, oh, we got Big Mac, chicken nuggets, and French fries. Okay? That is us determining the alternatives and the options. The other example I'll use is Uncle Joe says I need an alignment. Who does alignments? We figure out who does it, we show up, and we're wondering, even if it's just how much does it cost, we're wondering what choices we have. So need, who can help with a need, What choices do we have? Are there options, even if it's a price option? And then, and only then, can we make a decision. Once we have a need, we know who can help, we know what the options are, now we can say yes or no to whatever the options are. And then afterwards, we have some sort of post-purchase behavior. Oh, I swore I'd never eat a Big Mac again. Or, dang, that was a dang good Big Mac. Let's get 2 next time. Okay? So this is the customer buying process. And again, it's very well researched. It's psychology. It's well studied, and we know it. All I did was boil down all that research into these 5 steps. Now, the one feedback I get from this right away usually is, Greg, this could be want, because we tend to buy things we want. Except I would argue that there's a really thin line between want and need. And the example I often use is you go walking out of your house, you look across the street, and there's your neighbor with a brand new F-150 in the yard. And you're like, hey, Bobby got a new truck. Oh, good for him. As you're reaching for the door handle of your old jalopy, and you open the door, and the door creaks, and the seat's ripped as you're looking at it, and you're climbing in, and you happen to glance up, and there's Bobby's brand new F-150. And what happens? Over time, every morning when you walk out and you see Bobby's brand new F-150, as you climb into that creaky, ripped seat truck of yours, you start rationalizing. Well, boy, it's paid for. It's paid for. It gets me where I'm going. Although, man, I am putting a lot of money into it these days. Ball joints last week, tires, week 4. And boy, I carry the kids around in an awful lot. And man, that's probably not a safe thing to do. I mean, what happens if it breaks down at 2 a.m. and I got the kids in the car? Dude, what are you doing with the kids in the truck at 2 a.m. anyway? But you see where I'm going, right? Is that we tend to rationalize wants into needs. So I don't care if you think of it as want or need, doesn't really matter. It begins with a recognition of something different than what you have, right? There's a situation that needs to go away. Step 1, that need recognition piece is incredibly important. It is actually the number 1 step in the whole process. It's that important, right? But here's the thing. If a customer is not at need recognition, they're not in the buying process. And the example that I always use, that I'm just going to throw out there right now, is somebody comes walking in for an oil change. They schedule an appointment. They walk in through your door. They're standing at the service counter, and they say, yeah, I need an oil change. I need an oil change. Or maybe it's, I'm here for my oil change, right? We take them in. We do a courtesy inspection out back. We come back up. Here, I got a courtesy inspection right here. Hey, look at that. And we've got a whole bunch of things on here that are yellow or red. Only we see on here, brakes, front brakes are metal on metal. Now, even if you don't go look at that car, you know what metal on metal means. And your head, your mind, you go, whoa, that is not safe. We need to take care of that right now. Whoa, how did you let it go that far? Oh my goodness. And we kind of forget about the oil change, because oil change is not important next to those metal on metal brakes. Well, we already know what metal on metal means, right? You work here. You work at the service counter. Maybe you used to be a technician. Maybe you are a technician. You understand the ramifications of metal on metal. You do up an estimate and you come walking out and say, hey, Greg, listen, that oil change is almost done, but man, your brakes are metal on metal. I can't even let you out of here without fixing those things. All right, it's going to be $783. I'm going to go ahead and get the parts coming in because you need them. Now I'm sitting there thinking, no, I need an oil change, because that's what I was at need recognition with. And I figured out that you do oil changes. And I show up and you ask me if I want a conventional or synthetic motor oil. And I'm like, I don't know. So you explain the features and benefits to me. And I decide on synthetic, and you sell me a $130 oil change, and I'm getting the needs satisfied. But now you're coming and telling me you're going to put brakes on my truck because I don't know what you're all wound up for. You have something. And I'm thinking to myself, no, I don't need brakes. You see, I don't have need recognition. I am not in the first step of the buying process with brakes, with what you want to sell me off of this courtesy inspection. Okay? So you see how we tend to skip a step sometimes and we go right to decision without need recognition, without determining alternatives and options? If the customer is not at need recognition, they're not likely to say yes at all. Before any of us makes a purchase, we've got to feel like This is something that's going to solve something, want, need, or otherwise in our lives, or we're not going to buy it. And we're going to feel like you are trying to sell me something I don't need. Now, you've heard this from people. Go ask somebody at the next holiday party or barbecue. Summer's coming eventually. Ask them, do you like having your car worked on? And you know what they're going to say. And then say, why do you feel that way about it? And I can almost guarantee you that probably 6 out of 10 people will use those very words with you. They're always trying to sell me something I don't need. And this is why. Need recognition puts us in the buying process. If we don't have need recognition, we're not in the buying process. So when does an automotive service customer recognize a need for something? Well, if it's dead on the side of the road, it's easy. I need my car to keep going. So I know I got a problem. I need this thing fixed. That's pretty easy. When a light comes on, or I feel a funny vibration, or I hear a weird noise, I feel like I need something. I need somebody to look at it, somebody to diagnose it, somebody to fix whatever it is. Maybe it's when somebody suggests they need something. Now, maybe it's a trusted family member or a trusted friend, and Uncle Joe comes up and as you're leaving says, hey, you need new tires and alignment on that thing. Well, I don't know why Uncle Joe said that, but Uncle Joe said so I'm going to go figure out who does tires and alignments. But think about what happens at the service counter. Because this is a place where some customers determine need, especially if you're really adept at using a courtesy inspection. Well, it's digital. I know I got a piece of paper because I don't have a tablet to hold up with one on there for you. But you get the point. If you're adept at using inspections, then you're trying to use that to create need with a customer. Only too often, we look at a customer and say, you need. And that's not creating need recognition. Okay? It's easy, again, when it's dead on the side of the road, it's easy to say, I need. But when you're here for an oil change, and I tell you need tires, and you've never noticed that you need tires, it's not so easy to get into the buying process, okay? Again, too often, we skip right to, can I go ahead and get that for you today? I need to take care of this for you. You need front brakes. We got the parts. I'm going to put them on. All right, it's going to be $783. We are skipping need recognition, information gathering, and determining alternatives and options, and we're trying to get a yes from a customer. And we wonder why more customers don't say yes. Okay? So need recognition is crazy, crazy important because it enters you into the buying process. Telling a customer you need is not creating need. You get the idea? I know you do. The customer has got to come to this conclusion themselves. Now think about what that means. If the customer has to come to the conclusion that they need something themselves, what do you have to do? You see, everybody in sales classes, I shouldn't say everybody, in every sales class, somebody will raise their hand and they'll go, Greg, I'll tell you how I sell. I just walk them out to their car and I show them. And they say yes every time. Well, duh. Guess why? Because most customers, when they're standing at their car and they're looking at a set of brake rotors that are all ground up and there's metal dust everywhere, they can see broke and recognize broke. Is what I always say, right? They can look at that, and even if they don't know what it's supposed to look like, they can go, ooh, that doesn't look good. Or hand them an alignment printout. It's got a whole lot of red on it. Now, they don't know anything about those numbers on that alignment printout mean. They know, because you just told them red's bad, green's good, and there's 2 bars of green on that thing, and the rest of it's red. And they go, oh, yeah, I guess I do need an alignment. It doesn't take a whole lot to plant the seeds of need recognition, but you have to recognize that it needs to be done. Show and tell is really powerful because the customer's looking at their own automobile, they're hearing you in their ear explain what's wrong, they're seeing it, and even if they don't know what they're looking at, they know something doesn't look right, and it's creating need recognition with them. The car's on your list, so they know they don't need to gather information as to who can help. They know it's you. And so now they're just wondering, well, what do we do about that? How much does that cost? Now, I don't have anything in this presentation about price shoppers, but let me say this about price shoppers. First of all, you want to get a room full of automotive service professionals really wound up, just walk in the room, yell price shopper, and run. All right? And they will just, you're all going nuts right now. I know you are. I wish I could see you. Think about why people ask price. They don't know what else to ask. And so if they don't know what the other options or alternatives are, they're going to go, how much? Because they know it's going to cost something. You and I do the same dang thing. Okay? So to create need recognition, it's oftentimes visuals. It's not just visual, but use pictures, use videos, play show and tell. If you've got an animation program like that Motovisuals product that's out there, I think NapaTrax has something similar too. Use the animation to show customers how it works, what happens when things go wrong. Maybe you've got a sell sheet, or maybe you're selling accessories and you can show them a catalog. Okay? But the visual thing really helps a lot. Visual is not enough though. You've got to have the verbal, you got to have the word tracks, and we'll get into some of those. You've got to have the word tracks, and you've got to be able to hand it to them in writing, because some people learn by reading. You see, when you're creating need recognition, you're educating somebody. You're educating somebody who doesn't have even your level of knowledge, right? They may not have any level of knowledge at all when it comes to an automobile. And so you're teaching. You just became the teacher, and they're the student. And the thing about teaching somebody is every one of us has a different learning style. You're never going to know what that learning style is. And so you have to give it to them in verbal format, in written format, and in visual format, and you'll touch most of the learning styles. Okay? So step 2, once we have need recognition, oh yeah, that doesn't look right to me. Or, yeah, I got a weird noise. I need somebody to look at it. Then we got to figure out who can help us. Well, here's the thing. As a service advisor at the service counter, you may feel like this isn't really me, because if a customer's got to figure out who can get tires for them, or who can do an oil change for them, or who can solve a check engine light issue for them, what's that got to do with me? That's the boss. The boss is doing the marketing. The boss is putting up the billboards. The boss is doing whatever the boss is doing to get people to realize what we do for a living. Except that, I want you to think about this. If I don't know, or you don't know, who can help you with, I don't know, a new carpet at your house, a new roof, new windows, or working on your car? You better know who can work on your car, right? If you don't, you're in the wrong seminar. All right. Who do you ask? Uncle Google is probably the first person we all ask. But other than Uncle Google, friends, family, and coworkers is who we turn to. Well, the customer standing at your service counter is a friend, family member, or coworker of somebody. And so you actually, as a service advisor, have influence over people you don't even know yet. Customers that haven't come to you yet, you have influence over others sharing what you do and how you can help. So that's something I want you to always remember. Customers are wondering who can help. You can help them figure it out. Obviously, there's ads out there, right? You got your website, you got your ads, maybe you're doing billboards, you got your nice sign out there. Maybe it's electric, maybe it's just a big old sign that somebody painted. I don't know. That's obvious marketing type stuff. But what about those friends, family, and coworkers that we're hanging around every day, we're talking to every day, we're texting with every day? How do you influence those people? Well, as I said, your existing customers are those people. They've got friends, they've got family, they've got coworkers, most likely. And so we need to influence your existing customers to let the world know what you do and that you can help when somebody recognizes a need. So what do? One of you is already thinking, Greg, I have a customer referral program. Bingo. That's what you want. The reason you want it is your existing customers that love you and adore you, you want them talking about you. Not only do you want them talking about you, you want it to be easy for them to talk about you, so that when I need tires and I say to my buddy John, hey John, where'd you get those cool tires on your truck? John says, XYZ Automotive. These guys rock. Now, when I come walking through the door of XYZ Automotive, I already have a certain level of trust of XYZ Automotive. Why? Because my buddy John trusts XYZ Automotive. And therefore, because John said something, I'm more likely to trust you. I went to a Facebook seminar years ago, and I thought I knew social media. I thought I understood social media. And I walked out of there shaking my head, because I realized that the power of social media is that very thing. It's not that social media is true. It's that when I look at my network, because they're in my network, I think of them like my buddy John, and they're in my network, and somebody in my network says it's true. Oh, it must be true. I don't understand that kind of psychology because I'm not a psychologist, but it works. And so if you have a referral program and your customers know how to talk about you and they know how to share what you do with their friends, family, and coworkers, they're going to bring you more business. So I want you to leverage your existing customer relationship to help other people recognize when they have a need, who can help them with that need. Now, at this point, I usually say, every one of my coaching clients, I insist they have a customer referral program. And the reason I insist is that with a customer referral program, you don't have to pay anything until you gain a new customer. When's the last time that happened? Right? The direct mail guy or girl comes to you and they look at the return rates. We got a 75% return rate. Yeah, right. I'd be happy with 2%, right? 1.5%, and we're all excited. When do you pay for those 10,000 mailers to go out? You pay up front, don't you? And then what do? You hope that you get 1% of those 10,000 customers to come back. But you've already paid for them. With a customer referral program, and this is what I recommend, go have business cards printed. Not business cards, customer referral cards. Business card sized customer referral cards. Your logo's on the front. Name it whatever you want. I got a client with platinum bucks. I've got a client with absolute bucks. They both chose bucks. I've got somebody who went with gold doubloons or something. All right. Whatever you want on the front, whatever you want to call it, you call it. And you get your logo on the front. And on the back of that card, there's just one line. And that line is for the customer's name, the customer that's going to do the referring. So what happens is you're cashing me out. You explain the customer referral program to me. You hand me a card and say, Greg, you give this card to somebody. You write your name on, you know what? I'll write the name on the back of it for you. You hand that to me. You give that to the next person that needs automotive service. And when they bring us that card, I'm going to credit your account $50. Now, some of you are going, whoa, easy, Greg, $50? Are you insane? Yes, I am. But beside that, $50, think about it. Does $10 talk to you anymore? $5 doesn't talk to you. I know that. Does $20 talk to you? Maybe. But I don't know. I was saying to Amber the other day, I've got a pile of Ace Hardware loyalty bucks, right? From spending money in Ace Hardware. Do you think they're all $5 and $10 denominations? Do you think I ever bring them into Ace Hardware when I go to buy something? No, because it doesn't yell at me, stick it in your wallet and go spend it. Do you think a $50 Ace card would? Yeah, that'd buy me something, right? Money talks. Here's the other way I look at it. If I handed you, would you hand me $50 if I was willing to hand you back whatever amount your average repair order dollars is right now? Yeah, you would. Because I'm guessing most of you are $300, $400, $600, some of you might be $800. So would you give me $50 if I promised to hand you $700? Of course you would. And the beautiful thing is you don't have to hand this $50 out unless you actually get another customer. And when the customer comes in, they already have a higher level of trust with you because they got referred to you. The problem in reality with referral programs is that at the service counter, nobody talks about them. Everybody's got them. I want you to create a referral program, write it up, place it at, maybe you put it in a frame so it sits right here at the service counter, but put it where people can see it. Put it in your newsletter. Put it on your website. Make sure everybody that works for you understands what the program is. And look, do it for your employees too. Have an employee program where they refer customers to you, they get something. Snap-on gift cards, whatever it is. Because folks, the great thing is you don't have to pay it out until you get a customer. So you're exchanging whatever dollar value you're giving away for an average repair order. Think about that. That's how you can influence at the service counter. The second step of the customer buying process, gathering information. Who can help me after I recognize a need? Okay? It works. I promise you it works. And the best part is everybody wins. Okay, now moving on. Oh, I got one more slide. Sorry. Have you ever noticed how customers don't really know what you do? They come to you for an oil change, but they don't realize you do brakes. Or they come to you for brakes, but they don't realize you sell tires too. Or you sell tires, but, oh, I didn't know you did alignments. Customers don't know what you know. And a good referral program that you're always talking to your customers, your existing customer base about, will get people talking about, oh, those guys do that. Yeah, just go see them. Just go see them. Okay? So seriously, keep talking to your customers, have a customer referral program, and let's get it rolling. Okay? It's the single best marketing program you can possibly have. Now, the third step in the customer buying process, we have need recognition. We have gathering information. So I am hungry. Who's got food? I need tires. Who sells tires? Once I figure that out, what do you have for tires? What do they have for hamburgers here? Okay. It's determining alternatives and options. This is what you're really good at. This is what every service counter on the planet is really good at, right? Because it's what we do every day. It's the one step in the customer buying process I see eyes light up because they're like, oh, I get this one. This is what I do. Okay. Think about it as a customer though. I recognize I need something. I need tires. And tires is an easy one, but it's a bit of a cop out from a facilitator standpoint, but whatever, I'm going to use it. They show up because you sell tires. They figured out you sell tires from your website or whatever it is, Google reviews. I don't know. Now they want to know what tires you got. The better you can determine, help them determine, I should say, what alternatives and options they have, the more likely you are to get a yes. All right. Now, look, yes, I understand sometimes there are no options. Take the catalytic converter example, right? It doesn't really matter where you buy the catalytic converter. It's going to be dumb expensive. And you don't want the cheap one, right? Because you've had that experience. And so you know where you want to get them from. And it's one price. And that's the only place we're going to get. And there's no more options. So it's not like tires where we got a lot of choice. And there's a lot of personal things in there, right? Oh, they better be quiet, or they better look cool, or whatever it might be. With the catalytic converter, there's nothing. It's just there's no price options, there's no component options. But listen, what you can bring about as options are payment plans, financing options. Maybe we do the catalytic converter today and we do the tires in 3 weeks. Because you can get 3 more weeks out of the tires. Maybe we break the entire repair up into smaller pieces. That's an option. If you have pricing options, great. Otherwise, use value options. All right. So alternatives and options, my point here is that this is not just one form. It's not just which part do you want or which price point do you want. It's maybe we can break this into 6 repairs, 3 repairs, 2 repairs. We can help you budget for it. Maybe you have a financing option you can present. So it doesn't cost me $1,200 up front, but I can pay for it interest-free over the next 3 months, whatever it might be. Those are all alternatives and options. And all of those alternatives and options get you the sale. All right. Even things like value adds, warranties, road hazards, roadside assistance. All of these things are warm fuzzies for the customer. Because here's the thing we don't talk about much in sales classes that I'm going to bring up because you can't yell at me. I can't see you. It's awesome. Listen, there's one option that's always in a customer's head that's never in your head. And that option is, maybe I should go somewhere else. I know, right? We don't think of it like that. They're here. They're here. You shouldn't go anywhere else. We're awesome. But that customer is listening to you explain what their options are, and maybe they're not hearing any options. Maybe all they're hearing is, to make this light go out, you need a catalytic converter that's going to cost you $2,200 fully installed. And they're thinking, what if I go somewhere else? Maybe it's cheaper somewhere else. And so when you throw in value adds, remember, this catalytic converter comes with our 36-month, 36,000-mile warranty. We have a master diagnostic technician that's diagnosed this and is going to install that catalytic converter, and we'll stand behind it with our 100% satisfaction guarantee. Wow, these people sound kind of nice. Oh, and they're going to back it up. Do not discount how much that means. Last summer, I had a good friend of mine flew 3,000 miles to help a daughter who was in a really rough situation, help her out, and he calls me up. And she's driving an Audi. I know. I said the same thing. And he says, where do I take this thing to have it worked on? It needs work bad. And I said, well, first of all, find somebody who actually wants to work on it, right? That's good advice, isn't it? And so a few weeks later, I see him when he comes home, and I said, how did that Audi turn out? He says, I found the best shop. Man, they even offered a nationwide warranty. He says, they're going to get all her work now. And I thought to myself, okay, I knew who it was. I knew what network they were in. I'm not going to say it in this program, but I was familiar with the network. And I thought, you know what they did that I don't see anybody do very often? They sold him warranty. They sold him on their warranty. They're part of a nationwide network, somebody you guys would recognize. But the very fact that the service advisor said to this gentleman, by the way, these repairs come with a 36-month, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty as an independent repair shop, that sold him. Don't ever discount how valuable these things are in that third step of the buying process, determining alternatives and options. Because an alternative to me is always to go to a different shop. It can also be prices. It can also be convenience options. Maybe you give me a ride. Maybe you give me a loaner car. Maybe you can put me in a rental car. All of these things are part of alternatives and options. All right. When you present actual parts, remember the verbal, visual, and written thing. When you present warranties, show them something. Show them visuals. Show them diagrams. Show them whatever media you have. All right. Have a written description of the warranty. Have a written description of the features and benefits of the fancy new brake pad. Whatever it might be. Remember though, just like with need recognition, you need to present alternatives and options, whatever they might be, financing options even, in verbal, visual, and written formats. Okay? Sometimes it's a more technical issue, and maybe you can't verbally describe what's going on. Use your technicians. Customers love meeting the person working on their automobile. Don't be afraid to use them. Don't just turn the customer loose with the technician, though. Make sure you stay there so you can mediate that whole conversation. We won't get into that, but I know some of you got some technicians you don't want talking to customers, and you got customers you don't want talking to technicians. But the reality is, technicians, they have certain status in the customer's eyes. And if a customer can talk to a technician, they love it. Okay? Now listen up. Way up. Yep, I saw you. You fell asleep. Come back here for a second. Customer buying process begins with what? Need recognition. Once they have a need, they figure out who can help with the need. They look around. Once they figure out who can help, they want to know what the options and alternatives are. How much? How often? What kind of payment plans do you have? Can we break this into small repairs? Once they have all of that information, and only then are they ready to make a decision, the fourth step in the customer buying process. If and only if there's strong need recognition and they understand alternatives and options, at least those two, they're already talking to you so they know who could help. Need recognition, alternatives and options, if and only if those exist, they're ready to make a decision, okay? Here's the thing. Here's what I want you to never forget and teach everybody you hire to work the service counter. If there is hesitation, when you ask for the sale, you want to grow sales? You want to grow sales? You know what's the single best thing you can do to grow sales? Ask. Ask for the sale. That's all you got to do. That alone will grow sales. Now you can go about your business now. I gave you everything you needed to know. All right, for those of you who are still here, if when you ask for the sale, there's hesitation, there's a problem. If the customer hesitates, there's a problem. If the customer says no, there's a problem. It's on you. It's your fault. I hate to say it. Why? Because you didn't create enough need recognition. The customer does not understand they really have a need. If they do understand they really have a need, then they don't understand fully what their alternatives and options are, including payment options, pricing options, value options, all of that good stuff. If a customer can't say yes to you, it's on you, okay? You've got to recognize that. Something is wrong. If they hesitate, something's wrong. Remember what we're talking about today. Remember the customer buying process. And the first thing you need to ask yourself before you even sell to a customer is, where in the customer buying process is this customer with what I'm about to sell? And that will help you determine, do I need to go hit need recognition really hard and make sure they understand the need? Ask yourself, where is the customer in the customer buying process? They hesitate. I've got to remember the buying process. I've got to ask myself, where are they? And then I can ask the customer, can I ask you a question? Is it the time or the money that bothers you the most? They'll give you some feedback. Would more information help? I remember a guy in class out west one day, second night of a 2-night class. And I said, so, somebody tell me something you learned last night that you used today. And the guy raises his hand and he says, dude, I had this guy come in with a transmission issue, and it was, we diagnosed it, and it was like a $3,500, $4,000 ticket. And I asked the guy if I can go ahead and get it ordered. And the guy's just, you've seen it. You've seen the look, right? And he says, this voice, he says, it was your voice, just came into my head, and I thought, something's wrong. So I looked at the guy and I said, would more information help? He says, the guy's head snaps right up and he says, yeah, it would. He says, so I pull out all this stuff. I start showing him all this stuff. And about halfway through, the guy goes, yeah, you know what? Just order it for me. He says, it was that easy. But the guy needed more information. So if there's hesitation when you ask for the sale, when they're being asked to make a decision, that step 4 in the customer buying process, you've got to stop and you've got to ask some questions. First of all, ask yourself, where are they in the buying process? Did I miss something? Do I need to ask something? And ask them. Get some feedback from them. Is it time or money? Would more information help you decide? Would you like to know what some customers ask me about this? Would you like to see, maybe it's an option, maybe it's the warranty, maybe it's the payment plan. But stop yourself if there's hesitation. Recognize something's wrong. Ask some feedback questions so you can figure out where in the buying process they are in their head. Look, there are some things that make the decision hard. Sometimes money just isn't there. All right, you've been there, I've been there, we've all been there. Sometimes money is just not there. Sometimes it's a time thing. You know why I don't have half the stuff done on my own truck that you would be deeply disappointed in me knowing I didn't have done? Because of time. I can't be without my truck. I can't. I'm on the road. I travel 200, 300, 400 miles at a time. I'm not going to the office down the street, and so time for me is brutal. I've got to have a loaner car or rental car if you're going to do anything with my vehicle. Sometimes I don't feel the need, and that's because you haven't done a good enough job creating need recognition in me. Maybe I don't know what the options are. Maybe I heard what you said, but I did not understand any of it because it wasn't my learning style. It wasn't in verbal, visual, and written format. All right. All of this stuff works together. So think about, what payment plans do you have? If money's the barrier, do you have a credit program? And the thing I see at the service counter is nobody wants to promote the credit program because they're like, I wouldn't want another credit card. But you know what? You're making that judgment for that customer. Don't make that judgment for that customer. You don't know that maybe keeping the car on the road so they can go get the kids or get back and forth to work or whatever it might be is more important to them than having another credit card. All right? Don't make that judgment for the customer. Can you break the repairs into smaller pieces? Because think about this. You do a courtesy inspection, and it's $1,200. Sometimes it's not the fact that it's $1,200 that makes me not want to spend the money. It's the fact that I wasn't prepared to spend $1,200 today on this. So guess what? If you can break it into $300, $400 increments and pre-schedule those appointments, matching my paycheck. So maybe we do 300 today or 400 today, and we do 400 my next paycheck, and then 400 the paycheck after that. Not only does it help me budget for that, but it also, the more that customer comes back to visit you, the more you're their repair shop. So it actually benefits you to break that into more visits. Don't do $300, $400 today and not pre-schedule the others, because you don't want me somewhere else 200 miles away with $400 in my pocket because I just got paid thinking, oh, you know what? I can get those brakes done. Hey, look, they don't look too busy. And I pull into that place to get the brakes done. Nope. If I have a scheduled appointment, I am more likely to stay with you. Okay? Is there a different value option? Maybe they just want to get the car back on the road so they can sell it. And so maybe the cheapest pads and rotors, more than okay. All right? The last thing you should do if the customer doesn't have any money is discount. I don't let my clients discount ever at all unless it's a marketing program that we can track. All right? You should not have to sell with discounting. Maybe it's time. Offer rental cars, offer loaner cars, offer rides. Can you pick up and drop off the vehicle? All of these convenience options are really important to some customers. Maybe trust is in the way of saying yes. If I don't trust you that you're really telling me the truth about what I need and about what my options are, I'm probably not going to say yes. Now, I can't fix that for you today. Trust is a much bigger issue. But your referral program that you're going to implement now probably can help improve some of your trust. If nothing else, increase your transparency. Customers don't trust auto repair shops because they think we're hiding something. You're not. I know you're not. We haven't done this in a billion years. You are all trustworthy. It's the customers that think you're shady. So just create transparency for them. Show them whatever they want to see. Show them more than what they want to see. Okay, lift the veil. And if it's a need recognition thing, your sales process that I said I don't care what it is, well, I do care that it creates need recognition though, right? Because if the customer isn't at need recognition, they're not in the buying process and they'll never be able to say yes to you. All right, remember that customer buying process. Now, the last step, step 5, we're almost finished here. Hang in there. Step 5 is post-purchase behavior. With a food analogy, it was, oh, I swore I'd never eat another Big Mac again as long as I live. Or, dang, that Big Mac was good. Let's get 3 next time. All right? You want your customers to engage in some sort of post-purchase behavior. You want them leaving your facility feeling safer, feeling relieved that that light's not on anymore, having less worry, knowing that they did something to protect the longevity of their automobile, whatever it might be. You don't want them thinking, oh, I wonder if I really should have spent that money. I wonder if I could have gotten that done cheaper somewhere else. I wonder if Big XYZ had a better warranty than XYZ had. Boy, I don't know. Look, there's always going to be some sort of post-purchase behavior. You need to influence the post-purchase behavior. What post-purchase behavior do you want? You want people telling other people. You want customers walking out of there going, wow, that was an awesome experience. Those folks are fantastic. I want to tell my friends, family, and coworkers. Right? You want them to go see Uncle Google and leave a review with Uncle Google. That's what we really want. You want them to Yelp about you. I know, don't go Yelp. I know, I'm sorry I brought up that Y word. I know. Relax, it's okay. We'll stick with Google, all right? You want Google reviews. And you really, really, really want them to come back again and visit, right? That's the behavior that you want to influence. So how do you influence it? Think about this. Just set your line aside for a second. We're going to shift gears briefly, all right? I'll be right back. You need a TV. You want a new TV. You go to a big box store, you find a TV, you buy the TV, you get it home. What do you do with it? Well, you hang it on the wall, right? You hang it on the wall, you sit in your recliner or whatever favorite chair it is you have, you pop a beverage, and you got your remote, and you start flipping. Well, hell, look at that picture. Dang, looks like you're right in your living room, right? You see what you spent $1,200 on, and you're in love with it. You take that same $1,200 and you buy 4 tires, 2 ball joints, and a tie rod end. And the best that you can hope for is to notice nothing as you're driving away. Worst case, you got a $1,200 shimmy, right? That post-purchase behavior, when you buy the new TV and you hook it up and you're sitting there and it looks like they're in your living room, that's awesome, man. I'm going to give this thing a good review. When you spend $1,200 and you drive away and there's nothing that you can tell is any different whatsoever, because let's face it, a lot of what we do, customers don't know the difference when they drive away. Now you start to wonder, what did I just spend $1,200 on? Did I really get value for my money? All right, that's what you need to influence. You need to say to your customer at the time of invoicing, the time of checking them out. You need to say, Mrs. Smith, you made a great decision today. You're going to love those tires. We're going to keep those tires in great condition by regularly rotating those. You know what? I'm going to pre-schedule your next rotation right now so we can take care of that investment you just made. We've completed the repairs that you authorized. As you can see, the invoice total was just a few dollars less than what the estimate was. You can expect not to have any more trouble with this system for at least another 3-4 years. That's a life expectancy of that, whatever it is. Tell me what I can expect. Sell me the job again. Sell me the value. Remember, with the $532 that you spend today, that comes with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Here's a copy of the warranty, just so that you have that. If you have any problems, feel free to give me a call. Sell the job again, sell the value again, sell the assurance that I'm not going to have any more problems with whatever I brought to you to have repaired. Okay? You can also, at that point, after that, you can ask for referrals. Let me know what your referral program is. Ask for a review. You know, when's the last time you gave us a Google review? Would you mind doing that today? Man, that would be fantastic. I know shops that keep a tablet right at the service counter so customers can leave a review right then and there. Is it completely effective? I don't know. But look, tell them how they can talk about you. Tell them how they can leave a review for you. Tell them how they can share with the world how awesome you are. Okay? Make it easy for them. And look, just like asking for the sale, ask for reviews. Do you always have to ask for them? No, customers will give you reviews, but look, if you ask me to leave you a review, I'm going to do it. You know why? Because I teach this. And so I'm a Google reviewer, believe it or not. I'm a Google reviewer. If you ask me to leave you a review, I will leave you a review. I will be honest with a review. I'm not going to leave you one just to leave you one. I'll be honest with it. But if you ask me, I'm going to do it every time. All right? So ask. People use reviews. Do you buy a product that you don't know a whole lot about without checking reviews? I did once. I'll never do it again. Right? So make sure you drive those reviews by asking for them. And look, lastly, the post-purchase behavior you really want is you want to pre-schedule the next appointment so that I'm coming back to you with whatever it is I didn't buy today. Okay? So pre-schedule that next appointment, whatever it is. You can even pre-schedule tire rotations and oil changes. We are pretty consistent with how we drive our automobiles, believe it or not. And so you can even time-wise get pretty darn close to when I should be coming in for an oil change. And if I'm 500 miles off, who cares? Okay? So get that appointment pre-scheduled before I leave your service counter. Remember, it all starts with need determination, need recognition. I recognize I need something. Then I figure out who can help me with that. And then I go to, what are my options? What are my alternatives? Whether that's price, value, whatever it might be. Then once I understand that, I can make a decision. And then I have some sort of post-purchase behavior. The best thing you can do is remember to ask yourself, where in the customer buying process, as that customer stands in front of me today, is that customer? Where in the customer buying process, as they're standing here, is this customer? And do I need to create need recognition? Okay? Folks, here's what I hope you took away from today. Some of you took these 3 things away. Need recognition is the most important part of the buying process. Some of you took away, I need to get a customer referral program implemented. And some of you took away, my sales process, whatever it might be, has to support the customer buying process. I hope you took away a little bit more than that. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. Amber knows how to get a hold of me. And I always sign off by saying, keep up the great work and never, ever, ever stop learning. Thank you for attending.
Wait, you're cutting this off too soon, Greg. You can't run away yet.
No.
Not yet. I know, but you've got 5 more minutes I've got 5 more minutes. So a few things I just want to read through the chat. Super good information. Thank you. I agree. And so just to go back, I was kind of asking the audience, throughout, what they do, if they have a referral program. John Weber said word of mouth is the best kind of advertising. We also got don't forget about direct mail. How often do you push direct mail? Greg, just out of curiosity?
I don't very often. Direct mail is making an incredible resurgence right now, which I'm not entirely sure why, but maybe we're just tired of all the electronic stuff in our lives. Maybe the reason I don't push direct mail a lot now. Every one of my coaching clients has a direct mail program. So don't take this as me dissing on direct mail, as saying absolutely no direct mail. The reason I don't talk about direct mail a lot is some people, it's a hot button with everybody. Some people love it. Some people don't love it. The challenge I have with direct mail is many times, unless you're really trying to grow a customer base, direct mail doesn't give you the kind of returns that you need and want for the money. Now, every market is a little bit different. I have seen the same direct mail piece go into a specific market and it bombed. And the same thing went into a different market and it was awesome. The one direct mail piece that hopefully, knock on wood, I'm not wrong about, that I've seen work in a lot of markets this time of year are the tax return checks. Some of you are with, who's doing these right now? Mechanic Advisor, I think, is doing these right now. They will send out what looks like a tax return check to your customer base or a mailing list. And those have been upwards of 40% effective for some of my coaching clients. They did that on their own. I'm not taking credit for that one. I just saw the results and I was blown away. So yes, some direct mail pieces work really, really super well and it's well worth the money. And then other people will say, you know what, I've never gotten a single thing out of direct mail. It really depends on how good your mail lists are and what the market's like.
Yeah. Another comment, Jaron, I've seen shops across the country take their businesses to the next level by offering the convenience to their customers. So give them an experience and money. Just experience and money isn't an option. I think that's how I'm reading it.
Yeah, I think COVID had something to do with that too. I think I've pushed for years. If we could figure out how to do a concierge service for customers, meaning pick their car up and deliver it back to them, you would drastically grow your business. And thanks to COVID, a lot of shops started to figure that out, and customers got really kind of used to that. So I would tend to agree. Convenience is everything, especially to the new generations coming into our customer bases.
Yeah. And then the last thing, unless you guys, if you have any more questions or anything for Greg, please put it in. But talk about psychology, facial expressions, body language, and tone of voice can help customer make a positive decision, right?
It can. We could spend another hour talking about that. I read a lot of stuff outside of the automotive industry. One of the most interesting books that I've ever read is the author is Chris Voss, Voss. The name of the book is Never Split the Difference. And Christopher Voss is a former international hostage negotiator for the FBI. You want to get some selling tips. He is also on Masterclass, the virtual learning platform. It is tremendous material. I actually teach some of it in some of my classes now. He has got some psychology relating to body language and the words that you use that are invaluable in our world. So Christopher Voss, Voss, Never Split the Difference.
You just nailed it. So I actually, in my previous life, Chris Voss was one of my keynote speakers that I brought on
awesome.
Here in Atlanta, and fascinating guy.
Yep.
He's all over LinkedIn too. And talking about determination, like recognizing something, he does talk about putting labels on something, right? So when they come in for a need, right, you have to label that need for them because they may not know what that need is.
Very true.
So really that's kind of what it is. So Greg, I'm going to blast your email. So it just went in there. So if anyone wants to reach out to Greg, please feel free to do so. Eduardo sells value to their customers, never discounts. So that was
perfect. Eduardo, nice job. Thank you.
So just a reminder, if there's not anything else, this is being recorded. We will get the recording out to everybody. Greg, it's always a pleasure. I appreciate you. And one of these days we'll get coffee together.
All right. All good.
Thanks everybody for joining. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and enjoy the weekend that's upon us. Thank goodness. All right, Greg. Cheers. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.